Hi. Whew. It's one of those roasting days here in the UK. It's so hot. I've just come back from a few errands and it was sort of 32, 33 in the car on the thermometer. So that's Celsius. So it's quite warm here. And there's nowhere to cool off. I don't have a place. I might just get a bucket and put some ice in it and some cold water and stick my feet in it while I'm working in my office. I have shut all my blinds and shutters and things, which are at the front of the house, which is south facing. Southeast, or south, yeah, south facing. So I'm hoping that that's going to keep, well, certainly hopefully keep my office cool. Get the fan out, nice. Get a bucket, yeah, stick my feet in it with some ice. I think that's probably a very, very good idea. Good thinking. It's a funny time of year because normally I'm away, and this year I'm not going away, I'm staying put. I'm going to have the odd occasional break here and there. I've got to go and see some people all over the country for bits and pieces, but nothing like a proper holiday, which is probably not a very healthy thing. We used to go on some fabulous holidays as a family, and then I used to go on some great holidays with the kids to Spain and various other places since I split up from my ex-husband. But this year, they're all kind of older and they're all doing their own thing, and it's not like I'm not needed or not wanted or not considered, but it's just different. And there's that sort of empty nest kind of feeling. And I don't know whether you've gone through that or whether you've experienced it or how you feel about that. But it's weird, isn't it? I mean, just sort of talking to you, just sort of clarifying how it makes me feel. It's all of my life I've been a very hands-on, sort of pretty much full-time mum. I did some part-time work and various bits and pieces, but I was always there for the children 24/7. And my ex-husband was away abroad working a lot, so I was a very full-on sort of matriarchal mum. And the house was always full of the children and their friends and our friends, my friends, and it was a very, very busy place. And we used to have foreign students living and staying with us pretty much full time. And I used to do market research groups. I used to host them in the house, so there'd always be groups of people, probably two nights a week at least, doing research in the house. So it was always full of like feet and people and things and hosting and entertaining and friends and laughter and noise and mess. And now it's just me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to get a dog, and I've been narrowing that down, so you'll be hopefully pleased to hear about that. But I miss having my kids around me. And I didn't ever think I would kind of admit to that, but now I am admitting to it, and I'm admitting about it to you. So even though I love my independence and I love doing my own thing and my own company, and I really enjoy the house all quiet and tidy, and I know that when I go to bed I'm not going to come down and there's not going to be a pile of crumbs on the kitchen counter, and the milk won't be finished, and everything will be as I left it. But that's sort of slightly sad in a way as well, because I don't really particularly want everything to be as I left it. As much of a neat freak as I am, and I am, I've got lots of stuff, but I like my stuff to be the way I like my stuff to be. And I do kind of miss, I would trade that off really to see more of the kids, is probably what I'm trying to say. So my eldest son has been living away from home since he was probably about 19 actually, or 19, 20, when he went to uni. And he's fiercely independent. And even when he was talking about moving the other day, last week, he sort of said, "Oh, Mummy, I want to move. I'm going to move." He's in North London. "I'm going to move to South East London." And I said, "Why don't you go back to South West London?" And he said, "Oh, I don't want to. It's kind of like a retrograde step, and I don't want to go backwards. I wanted my life to move forwards." And I thought, yeah, okay, I kind of get that. And also, we had some fabulous memories when we were living in Southwest London, but obviously there was also the breakup, which was quite traumatizing, I think, for everybody concerned at the time, and massively for the children. I think that sort of destabilization kind of can put a big disconnect with a place, because you obviously, when you think about it, you think about it in the memory of growing up, and perhaps he's not ready to go back there. But I would like to see more of him. And then my daughter is very happy. She's living in Southwest London, and she's very happy and is taking a year out and then probably going to go to uni. and she's really enjoying working at the moment and earning some money, so she's very happy doing that. And I'd like to see more of her, but again, she's fiercely independent and wants to do her own thing and wants to be a proper grown-up, and why not? I mean, I remember being and feeling like that when I was her age. And then there's my middle son, who is much more of a homeboy. He likes coming home, and he's away at the moment on holiday. Well, actually, he's working in a garden. He's gardening in Spain at the moment. He's going to be coming back next week with something that he absolutely loves and gets a lot of satisfaction from, and it's a very healthy, lovely thing to do. So he's coming back next week, and I'm going to really look forward to seeing him. But then he's going to go off to uni because he's just rented a new place. So as soon as he comes, it's going to be a few days, and then he's going to go off again. So it's going to be like a bit like sort of revolving doors of people coming and going. But I do miss them, and I can remember when I was younger and the children were very little, and I had 2 children under 2, and my eldest son massively on the kind of neurodiverse spectrum, and it was really hard work, and I didn't have an au pair or any help, and my ex-husband, as I said, was away a lot, and I can remember just feeling very overwhelmed by everything. And I think you want to appear to be this perfect mother, this perfect mum who's always there for your kids, 150%. You're always there when they're doing their sports matches, although my children didn't particularly like sports, but you always want to be there for that. You always want to be running the PTA. You always want to be, hosting a coffee morning or fundraiser or whatever it is. And I was that person. I was the person that put my hand up, I'll do that. And I was the person that ran a craft group every Thursday, baked all the cakes for the whatever it was, everything. And I really, really enjoyed it, but I really loved all the amounts of people coming in and out of the house, and just all the camaraderie and the chats and the laughter and the memories and the stuff that we talked about and we did, and the support. I mean, just that kind of lovely support that we had for each other. And now that the children aren't here anymore, it's all gone. And I can remember someone saying to me at that point, at that time in my life when it was all very, very, stuff really overwhelming, and I can just remember thinking, oh my goodness me, this is just too much. What have I taken on with these children and everything that comes with them? But she said to me, she was a bit older than me, and she said to me, Lisa, just enjoy it, just relax and enjoy it. And before you know it, it will be quick as a flash, they'll be gone, and you'll be missing them. And I thought, I don't know about that. Seems to be going on forever. And it was just so crazy. And then she was right. Suddenly they were 10. The youngest was 10. Then the youngest was a teenager. Then she was wanting to go off with her friends and go into town and, get a little job and do this and do that. And the boys the same, they were all off. And I just thought, goodness me, you're right. And then we had lockdown, and I suppose that was a kind of false sense of security because the children were with me, except for my oldest, who was in his flat. He'd already moved out. So they were with me kind of full time, and it was just lovely, actually. We had a really lovely time, all of us together in our little bubble, and with the dog, and we'd moved, and I got divorced, and it was happy times, and I was working on my book, and it was all exciting, and they were doing their distance learning from home, and it felt very secure, and I felt very safe with having them around, and I felt that we were all sort of adults by then, and we could all enjoy a glass of wine in the evening if we wanted to, or we'd have a laugh about stuff in a way that you can't do when they're children, and it was really fun. And I sort of miss that to and fro, that sort of camaraderie, and I sort of never really thought about the term empty nester. And what does an empty nester mean to you? What is an empty nest? Because now I've moved, the children have got most of their sort of prized possessions are with them in their own places, and they've made their own sort of little nests, I suppose, for themselves in their own sort of rental places. And what's left here is, I suppose, their memories from when they were younger, sort of notebooks, sketchbooks, books, children's books. The stuff is all kind of, in there's a couple of bedrooms, we've got stuff in there, but they're more sort of like transient bedrooms, sort of guest bedrooms. And it does feel quite weird sort of not being surrounded by their laughter and their noise and their mess and their laundry and the incredibly huge amounts of food they could get through. That's another thing when you're on your own. I don't know about you, but I found that to start with, I was still sort of buying the same amount of lettuce or the same amount of eggs or milk or whatever it was as I was buying when the kids were around, and I hardly get through any of that stuff. So it's sort of been a real learning curve, learning how to just buy for one. And it's funny because I go around the market and I might just buy 2 courgettes or zucchini. I might buy 1 eggplant, 1 aubergine. I might just buy 3 tomatoes or, a couple of lemons or whatever. Whereas before I'd be buying 2 kilos of tomatoes and, tons and tons of stuff. And that's quite nice because I've learned to do more of a kind of European thing where you go out and you buy fresh, when you want it. And you don't have to go and do a big weekly shop, spending hundreds of pounds or whatever, 100 and whatever pounds a week. And then within a few minutes, a few days or whatever, it's all gone and you have to go out and kind of top up. It's quite nice from a sort of monetary point of view. I've definitely found that. And also things like water consumption. And, my children used to have showers that you would last. It was like sort of, Niagara Falls. They'd go on and on. I have my really lovely shower sort of 5-10 minutes and that's it. 5 minutes, whatever it is. And I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much. And I still get a lovely deluge and I still get lovely and fresh. And so, yes, things like kind of water consumption and electricity and stuff, that's all very positive. But I miss their little faces and little sort of, little sweet faces. And I miss just the happy times and the laughter and the carefreeness. And I can remember when my eldest son came home and he had a bit of an episode a few weeks ago, and he came home for some space and TLC and to get better, actually, just to get on his feet again. And he said to me, "Oh, Mummy, I wish that things were as carefree as they were when we were young and when I was young, and I wish I could turn back the clocks." And I think that's quite telling, really, isn't it? Because I think we've gone through what we've had to go through, so I feel quite emotional about it. I think we've all grown up and grown, all of us, the 3 children and me. We've grown up together. We've learned so much from each other, and there's a lot more to go and there's a lot more to learn and there's a lot more fun to be had. But sometimes I just miss them, and I feel a bit, sometimes like today, I feel a bit sort of, it'd be lovely if they were coming home, we could have a barbecue tonight and, have a glass of rosé as the sun goes down and get the sprinkler out and everyone can get their clothes wet or whatever it is. But no, it's just going to be me. So I've got a day of work. A day of doing a few things. I've already been out in the garden early this morning and watered it because it's so hot out there. Well, I've watered the pots and the vegetables because it's so hot out there. I suppose I'll have to go out again later tonight. Mind you, having said that, it's going to be gorgeous. And the moon last night as it was rising was phenomenal. It's not going to be, I don't think, a full moon until Sunday, but it was gorgeous last night. So I don't mind standing in the moonlight watering my plants like a funny little old lady. A little white witchy lady. I don't mind doing that. But it would be nice to share those things with somebody, wouldn't it? It would be nice to share them with your children, really, with your loved ones. And it'd be nice to see what they've been up to and hear all their news. They probably think I'm just a sentimental old mummy. But I am a sentimental old mummy. And I've got every right to be because I'm their mother and I miss them. And so I think it is about time, really, to get something else, like a surrogate child. I get myself and my little puppy. So I'm hopefully going to do that in September. So that would be very exciting. So I will keep you posted. But I'd love to know how you get through the kind of down moments about how you feel about being an empty nester, if you are an empty nester, or if you're worried about being an empty nester, or if you're looking forward to it. I think if I was still married or if I had a partner, I'd probably love it because we'd have all this lovely time together. We could do all the things we wanted to do. But at the moment, it's me, and I'm very happy with it that way, and I wouldn't want it any other way at the moment, but I miss my kids. So kids, if you see this, which is highly unlikely because I don't think you like watching your mother on social media, but if you do see this, I miss you, I love you. Please come and see me at some point. It'd be really nice. I know I've probably seen you all quite recently, but it'd be lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. And lots and lots and lots of love. And lots of love to all of you out there, all of you mums and dads who are feeling a little bit like you'd like your kids around you as well. Or do you feel like you've sort of missed them more than you ever thought that you would? It's funny, isn't it? Life's a funny old thing. I always say that, if only I'd known. Well, that lovely lady did try and tell me when I was feeling very overwhelmed, however many years it was ago, 15, 18 years ago, she did try and warn me, just relax. And you know what, the other thing she said, apart from relax and appreciate them now because they're going to be gone before you know it, the other thing that she said, which I thought was really wise words, was, Lisa, you don't have to be all singing or dancing to everybody. You don't have to bake the cakes and provide the space and be that person. Sometimes just your smile is enough. Sometimes just a smile will fill the room, and that's all you need to give. Have a lovely day.